Alright, so I was looking through a bunch of comments randomly and I stumbled upon one of HAARP Report's videos that he did quite a while back on April 19th, 2015. It's currently September 20th, 2015. That's a few months later. And, well, this is a comment that I found by HAARP Report 2 days ago. From the International Chemtrail Association's Facebook page, International Chemtrail Association fleet capacity and coverage increased by 27% in 2014 and similar progress is expected in 2015. Night spraying runs have significantly increased the coverage in the continental USA, Germany, and Oceania region. Continuous spray runs such as the one demonstrated here deliver a wider, deeper dimming effect. Thank you for your support in 2014. Dimmer skies are safer skies. December 18th, 2014. And, well, this is the page that he's referring to. Obviously a plane spraying some sort of crap. This page is very interesting. It's almost like a troll. It's a pro geoengineering slash troll page or whatever from my observations. I know that there's a lot of trolls on here. Okay, let me just find out really quick. Let's see. One of the people against geoengineering right here says absolutely disgusting, and well, I gotta agree with that statement because what they're doing is absolutely terrible. And here comes the trolls. Chris Singleton. Let's see. Colin King. He's a well-known one. Both of them are. But anyways, I could see this meteorologist, Jacob Wyckoff, or whatever his name is. He might be official, but I'm not gonna judge too much because, quite frankly, I don't know. There's a lot of imposters, fakes, and trolls out there. Okay, he says, keep up the good work. Let me know if there are any openings in the corporate office for a meteorologist. And then this page right here replies, thank you for your comments, meteorologist Jacob Wyckoff. The ICA's research and development team is fully staffed. We shall be in contact should suitable openings arise in the future. Thank you for your support. Dimmer skies or safer skies. This organization or page, whatever, is truly pro geoengineering. Okay, let's continue. Dimmer skies are safer skies is the most Orwellian crap I've ever heard, and I tend to agree with him. Mother Nature should not be screwed with. The way to save the planet is to bring out the dozens of proven free energy technologies and then stop releasing all greenhouse gases. I do agree that greenhouse gases are an issue. Okay, chemtrails are killing the planet very rapidly now. Of course, a lot of trees in my city are now dying. A once beautiful city is now in horrible shape. I also went to Northern California and forests were looking bad, even in remote areas. Anyone who is a proponent of poisoning the atmosphere is a criminal and should be arrested and put on trial just like the men in black who have suppressed the free energy technology since the 1920s. I'm not going to say anything about free energy technologies because, well, quite frankly, I haven't done enough research into that. Okay, continuing. This is me replying. Are you sure this isn't some sort of troll page? Kinda looks like one with the responses given. By responses, I mean there are lots of trolls on there, on that page. Okay, well, let me tell you what I just told Klaatu Roi a few minutes ago, September 18th. The CBS Evening News showed a 15-second piece with the very same rainbow cloud pictures which are shown on that Facebook page. I'll show you that after I play the clips. CBS actually did censor one part of its stream, so it isn't visible now, but on archive.org you can still see it, at least for the time being. You'll see that stuff in a second. The pictures are in the album towards the end. The first picture was shown on CBS along with a couple after number 40 or so. Roy tells me that clouds which create rainbow effects are loaded with ethylene dibromide, a horrible greenhouse gas and internationally banned poison. We're gonna read on that thing in a second from the official EPA website. I have not verified his information as to the index of refraction and angle of the rainbows, but it seems very reasonable to say they are not natural clouds and they are full of chemtrail toxins. When I saw the short segment on the CBS Evening News, I was stunned, having just found that website, downloaded all the pictures, and voila, there they are on national TV. I tell you, I just don't believe in coincidences anymore. In fact, today I would have been stranded big time in my automobile in very hot weather, except for a little voice told me to buy a certain tool 3 days ago. So there it was, right where I needed it. Without that purchase, I would have been stranded in killer heat. I just don't believe in random events anymore. The veil, as they say, is getting thinner and thinner, at least to those that are willing to keep an open mind and work for the good of the planet. That is probably more information than you wanted, but I was so happy to not have to call a tow truck. As far as the International Chemtrail Association on Facebook, I think it is a clever plant of real pro-chem information to give the paid trolls a place to post their support and at the same time a way to disclose new chemtrail photos and information with minimal risk to the author. It may also be a way to catch and trace these troll programs for later prosecution. Let's hope so. I think it is both a pro and a con, a sophisticated psyop which is testing a new method of disclosure, how to sell chemtrails to the public without risking prosecution. Particularly pay attention to the slides that show the medical benefits of inhaling nanomolybdenum particles that I have not checked the medical evidence, but it looks legit. I haven't checked the evidence either, so I'm not going to comment on that really. In one slide, they show nanoparticles of barium molybdenum. Then later, they show the medical benefits of molybdenum ingestion without talking about the deadly effects of barium. But no matter. The fact is, this Face CIA book page, aka Facebook, appears to be disclosing new information, so that is my interest. I'm keeping all photos, captions, and all the links for later video making on reference. Okay, he goes on. 4 hours ago, I just watched the online CBS Evening News from 9:18 and the segment showing the chemtrail rainbow clouds at 16 minutes and 30 seconds was deleted from the online rebroadcast. I'm going to show you that in just a second after reading off the ethylene dibromide thing from the EPA. Okay, Roy tells me that he is getting threats to not talk about ethylene dibromide coming from airliners or his entire YouTube account will be terminated. Somebody needs to do some videos on this. I swear, I saw the chemtrail cloud segment on CBS Friday night. It was only about 10 to 15 seconds and the purpose was to tell everyone how normal the rainbow clouds are because we will be seeing a lot more of them. EDB was banned worldwide back in the 1990s because it is such a powerful greenhouse gas. Interesting. Haven't studied enough on that, so not going to comment. Also, it is a potent poison and is still used as a pesticide from what I read recently. This is no joke. We have just caught the mainstream media in a big ass mind control conspiracy. If anyone has a copy of the CBS Evening News from September 18th, please make a YouTube showing the rainbow cloud segment, and that's why I'm here. I was watching the over-the-air rabbit ear antenna version of the broadcast in the Texas market. The fact that people have started talking about Rainbow Cloud segment minutes after it aired, and then that part was deleted from online/archive version, it's a confirmation of a cover-up. You know, Weather Channel actually shows this really quick. Okay, you're gonna see that in just a sec. They have a little segment on Weather Channel here. If this thing would load up.
A remarkable cloud stuns residents of a town in
See what
Costa
I
Rica.
mean?
It appeared overhead just a few
Weather
days
Channel
ago,
has it.
and the lady who shot this video says it was absolutely
And it just came out today around noon, Eastern Time.
It's like the Lord is gonna come through.
Okay, and then after that, HAARP Report gave me a link to the stream right here, which I'm gonna show you in just a second. This is the edited version. I responded after finding a unedited version. I think I found the short segment talking about the rainbow clouds you were talking about. Could have used better wording. Better record it while I still can and put it on a flash drive. 5:52 p.m. first 10 seconds. Then I give the link. Definitely a discrepancy between the clips. You know, you're gonna see the discrepancy, and then I said about an hour ago, please check your inbox because, well, I recorded that for him and I uploaded it somewhere for him to potentially put in a presentation if he chooses. Okay, let's get on to EPA, what he says about ethylene dibromide. Okay, hazard summary. Created in April 1992, revised in January 2000. Exposure to ethylene dibromide primarily occurs from its past use as an additive to leaded gasoline and as a fumigant, aka pesticide. Ethylene dibromide is extremely toxic to humans. The chronic long-term effects of exposure to ethylene dibromide have not been well documented in humans. Animal studies indicate that chronic exposure to ethylene dibromide may result in toxic effects to the liver, kidney, and the testis. Irrespective of the route of exposure, limited data on men occupationally exposed to ethylene dibromide indicates that long-term exposure to ethylene dibromide can impair reproduction by damaging sperm cells in the testicles. Several animal studies indicate that long-term exposure to ethylene dibromide, there should be a space here, increases the incidences of a variety of tumors in rats and mice in both sexes by all routes of exposure. EPA has classified ethylene dibromide in Group B2, probable human carcinogen. Yeah, I would think it would be a carcinogen as well. I still have a feeling that this ethylene dibromide is still used in jet additives or however, and it's dispersed. That's what I believe because I know that just knowing how the elite operate in their psychopathic nature, I really wouldn't doubt that this stuff was being sprayed on us. Okay, uses. I'm just going to go over some of this stuff because reading it's going to take a long time. Ethylene dibromide was used in the past as an additive to leaded gasoline. However, since leaded gasoline is now banned, it is no longer used for this purpose. That doesn't mean that they can't spray it on you. Ethylene dibromide was used as a fumigant to protect against insect pests and nematodes in citrus, vegetable, and grain crops, and as a fumigant for turf, especially on golf courses. In 1984, the EPA banned its use as a soil and ground fumigant because it's toxic, of course. Ethylene dibromide is currently used in the treatment of felled logs for bark beetles and termites and control of wax moth and beehive. I don't know why that stuff is being used still, because according to them, it seems extremely toxic. Ethylene dibromide is also used as an intermediate for dyes, resins, waxes, and gums. Okay, health hazards. I know there's a lot of stuff to go over. You can just pause the video if you want to read over this. And then there's a bunch of references. I know for certain the EPA wouldn't be telling you that they're using it in military airliners and airliners in general. They wouldn't tell you that if it was happening, because you know how they operate. In my opinion, I don't feel that they're doing their job right, at least in some parts. Like they didn't classify coal ash as a toxic material, even though people who are exposed to it regularly have all sorts of problems. Alright, now I'm gonna first show you the unedited version and then the edited version. After that, I'm gonna show you one last final thing with that Facebook group that we talked about in the beginning. I'm gonna play a little extra just so you see the discrepancy better.
Right on us.
There's no way. Look at this hail.
He was lucky. The same flash flood killed 7 hikers who took this photo right before they began rappelling into one of the park's narrow and dark canyons. In a statement, the family of 51-year-old Gary Favela said exploring the canyons was his passion. Also killed was 58-year-old Steve Arthur, a sheriff's deputy from Ventura County, California.
Careful.
When he was taking this video, Jordan Birnbaum said he knew the storm would be deadly.
Dude, we need to get down there.
We saw how many people were in the park that day, and we were like, some people are going to be in some really big trouble.
Trouble he himself barely managed to escape.
It's okay, baby.
Ben Tracy, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And we'll be right back.
Alright, I'm just gonna skip the ads. I'm pretty sure you don't want to see them. Also, HAARP Report tells me a common media tactic is to create sympathy, in this case, dead hikers. While people are still emotional, they can push their information without rejection because people's minds, their critical thinking, is shut down when emotions take over.
Rainbow clouds. Rainbow clouds appeared over Costa Rica. That happens when sunlight hits water and ice particles, painting the sky in these striking colors. Now have a look at some striking photos, the winners of a competition run by the Royal Observatory in Britain. Here's the Milky Way as seen from France. A solar eclipse captured by a 7-year-old on a passenger jet, and a comet streaking like Cupid's arrow toward the Heart Nebula. Cupid struck at Atlanta's Turner Field.
Okay, here's the edited clip from the stream.
Who took this photo right before they began rappelling into one of the park's narrow and dark canyons. In a statement, the family of 51-year-old Gary Favela said exploring the canyons was his passion. Also killed was 58-year-old Steve Arthur, a sheriff's deputy from Ventura County, California.
Careful.
When he was taking this video, Jordan Birnbaum said he knew the storm would be deadly.
Dude, we need to get down there.
We saw how many people were in the park that day, and we were like, some people are going to be in some really big trouble.
Trouble he himself barely managed to escape.
It's okay, baby.
Ben Tracy, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And we'll be right back. Now have a look at some striking photos, the winners of a competition run by the Royal Observatory in Britain. Here's the Milky Way.
At this point, there should be an alarm going off in your head saying, where's that segment? Well, let me tell you something. They deleted it.
Streaking like Cupid's arrow toward the Heart Nebula. Cupid struck at Atlanta's Turner.
Alright, this is the International Chemtrails Association page. This is the post that I wanted to show you. Very interesting. Right before the evening news showed it, this was around 2:43 a.m. Pacific, at least I think. The post says, the ICA's breakthrough in SRM technologies are at work day and night to ensure maximum nanoparticulate dispersal and ingestion for all citizens. Sounds extremely sinister if you ask me. Genocidal. God, it pisses me off so much. But anyways, continuing. Brilliant coruscations erupt as the evening particulates radiate in all directions, bringing dimmer, safer skies to all. Thank you for your support. So, yeah, of course it's pro geoengineering. And this picture right here, it's the exact same picture that was shown on the CBS Evening News. The unedited version. The edited one, it completely skips over the segment. But yeah, look, it's the exact same picture. That is extremely odd. You know, HAARP Report is right about no longer believing in coincidences. It's very, very odd that before the news aired this picture, There was a post by this page right here, and it has over 11,000 or so likes, so it's pretty big. It just blows my mind. I wanted to show you a few more things. Hang on a second. Let's go through their pictures a bit. Yeah, very, very similar stuff. Okay, 1, 2, yeah, it's about number 40 in 2014. It looks very, very similar with these clouds with the rainbow effect. Anyways, the point of this video is, looks like there's a cover-up by CBS deleting a segment off of their evening news stream for September 18th. Very, very bizarre. Especially when this was posted the same day as the broadcast, and it was the same photo. I guess when people start talking about a very, very weird phenomenon, they really don't want it to spread, but unfortunately though, I feel it's going to spread more and more so. Alright, thank you for watching. Hope this has been informative. I want you guys to investigate ethylene dibromide more. That's pretty much the point of this video. It might be involved in a cover-up of some sort. Right. Thank you for watching.